My name's Eoin. I am one of 3 teachers of computing at Beeswax in Midlothian. There's my Twitter and my Glow as well. I'm going to quickly talk to you about how we use Microsoft MakeCode Arcade, particularly during the second lockdown, but then kind of how we're thinking about using it going forward. So this is kind of our S1 to S3 timeline, and you can see that games featured in the back half of last year when we're in lockdown in all 3 year groups. Traditionally with S2 and S3, we'll use Game Maker, and we've got a Game Maker 8.1. Looking at how we could do games when we were all off, we had thought about Scratch. I don't like Scratch. So I seen a tweet about MakeCode Arcade. And it's really, really simple. If you've not gone and if you've not seen it before, it is really simple. They've got lots of cool wee tutorials, which initially we got our young people to work through when they were at home where SD and S2 did it. And then when we came back after Easter, we tweaked these tutorials for our S1 just to kind of get them to code, but then to explain what their code did. So you create a new project, game. It's drag and drop. If you've used MakeCode with the microbits, it's the exact same kind of idea. You've got your library down the middle and your interface. One of my favorite, they've got extensions and libraries, and one of my favorite is this guy called Corgio, because what you can do very quickly is you can build a game that has a corgi that roams around the screen just by dropping in blocks like so. And what will happen now is that corgi should move around my screen. I don't have a background, so he's not actually moving, but very quickly I've got a character that I can then build up the game. It does have, and this is where I think for like the NP games dev, there's maybe potential because you can use JavaScript and you can also use Python as well. And obviously with level 6 games dev, they've got to write their own code. So that's an option I think I might explore. I mean, I feel it's very self-explanatory. The first years when we did in person, they really took to it. The games we did, and these are all in the Highland Drive, we did a simple a collector game, we did a maze game, we did a Corgio platformer game, we did a game that MakeCode Arcade themselves call Galga, which is kind of a shooter game. All of these tutorials I designed with a basic game and then what I called level up. So you got the basic game, which I was looking for a minimum, but then we got these extra things you could do. And because we were in a lockdown situation, I've got all these videos on YouTube that, yep, they were designed for lockdown, but they'll still be getting used in my class this year. The slide decks, I'll share the link to it, but that QR code will take you to the folder in the CSS Scotland Drive, CSS Google Drive. For it, this is the kind of timeline that we went for first year. We did a collector game, we did Galga, we did maze game, we did Corgio. We then gave them 3-4 weeks to build their own game. And for the first time, we kept this relatively vague. We just wanted a game for them. Some of the young people went and did their own thing and took what they did and ran with it. Others took versions of other games and then just tweaked them. So what I've got is this QR code will take you to a REPL webpage where you can see the games that the kids built. So I'm just going to show you a couple of them. So again, this is a platformer style game with a character. The character and the assets here are from the Game Maker library. There's a library of assets, but then the student has then programmed in the controls and the movement and such like. I can, what you use as an example, I can go in and I can see the code that they have built. The internet / the computer's not liking this. come back to that. This one here, the candidate the student took the game that we did in class as a collector and added in an enemy that was supposed to chase and other bits and pieces. The level of creativity was within the young people was quite good because they seen other games that they knew and were able to build them. I mean, this is a pretty decent version of Pac-Man. The ghosts follow you. He's got the, if I can get it, he's got the power pellet where they turn that you can destroy them. The wrap round works. So it's quite straightforward to build quite good games within MakeCode Arcade. What I discovered over the summer is one of the real issues was that they made it on the computer, but there was no ability to save it. It was just using cookies that it was saved to that machine, which caused issues when the kids wanted to go home and work on it. So they have added Microsoft account sign-ins. They can sign in with their Glow account. There is then, of course, the caveat about DPIAs, but I'm not just going to touch that. So that is really an extremely fast whistle-stop tour of MakeCode Arcade. I think it's relatively straightforward. I think it's more exciting, particularly the first year when doing games dev than Scratch, because they can do 2-3 drags and they build a game. So whilst we were prior to the Kahoot, that code there, and I've got a very simple website. Sorry, wrong context. Very simple game. I've been doing web dev with S2, 3, and that 5 and higher. So that's why I'm talking about websites.